introduction. Can everybody hear me? Excellent. So what I'd like to start first off is to thank you all for showing up. And thank you, Rabia, for bringing me here. For those of you, anyone here brand new to first time that they're at a meeting? Okay. I just want to take a little segue before I start the real juicy stuff and share a little bit about Ewomen. I've been a member, I'm in my 3rd year of membership, and I had a friend that for about a year was chasing me. Karen, you have to come down to this group, you have to come down to this group. At the time, I was emceeing lunches for the chamber, and I said, I can't. I've got 120 people in the room that are expecting me to be there. We had a change in that. The chamber ended up merging with another chamber. I came to a meeting. I have never left. For all the ladies here in the room and our token gentlemen, one of the things that's beautiful about Ewomen is the connection, the camaraderie, the sisterhood, the men that join us, as well as what the opportunities that you have. The fact that I'm here is because I'm a member of Ewomen, and I've had the opportunity to travel to different chapters as a member so that I can get introduced and connect with other women. And so if you have a business that might seem local, one of our members is she's a tax accountant, taxonista. She's been at the conference, and she's had the opportunity to gain clients from around the country. So think as the same way when you're coming in knowing that your lead may not come from the room, Ewomen has an effect to be global for you and not just local. So I do invite you also to the opportunities that next month make this room double than what it is. Be a friend. Just say, hey, this is a new emerging group. And I know, because I know Rabia, I know that this group is a power group because I could already see it by meeting with some of the ladies that I've met in this room, and the gentlemen, we're not going to leave you out, that you can do some amazing things here. And this can be a core in the community for women and men in business to make a difference. Now, how do we bring these people in? So we're going to start off with, imagine that you're walking into a room. Anybody, those that have walked in here the first time, you ever been in a situation where you walked into a room and you're talking to people and you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about? Anyone with me? Yeah, see, that happened to me last night. Okay? Last night, I went, they're laughing because they know what I'm talking about. Am I saying this right? The NCMA meeting. I was at the NCMA meeting. I don't even know what it stands for. I just know there's NCMA, there's GSA, there's contracts, and there's a lot of short words, a lot of tech language. And they were speaking English. Now that's a little bit of a communication challenge. That's not the first time that happened to me though. This time it was English, but the last time it happened to me, I was 6 years old. I was 6 years old. I got on a jumbo jet. Anyone's ever been on a 747 jumbo jet or seen a 747 jumbo jet? Like, how cool is that? One of the things that I loved about it, I was 6 years old, and my mom and my sister and I got on a plane to basically go and join my father and my 2 brothers in Israel. We were flying, so it was like this big adventure. We're flying across the ocean, we got everything packed. I get on the plane, and they had this like staircase. Goes to the 2nd floor. I mean, like a 2nd floor on a plane. Like, how cool is that? I'm on a plane with 500 people, and guess what? Most of them spoke English, so that was really cool. I go to sleep, I wake up, we get off the plane, and I go to this like sunny country. We have to walk down the plane and get into buses. I have no idea what anybody's saying, because they're all speaking this weird language, and they all look different, and they're wearing different things than what I'm used to. Welcome to Israel. I was in kindergarten, and I spent the second half of my kindergarten, it's a total blank. I had absolutely no clue was being said. Can you imagine that? How many of you have children, grandchildren? Can you imagine somebody that little child coming back from school and they can't make any friends because they don't know what's going on? Now, I'm a pretty friendly person. I mean, I was shy as a little kid, kind of hid behind my mom's apron, but I wanted people. I wanted friendships. And that was when I made my vow that I will never, ever allow that kind of language and communication gap to stand in between me and meeting other people. So that's where my passion for language had started. And I moved on to take my passion into higher levels. I spent time in the Israeli military, as you heard earlier. And when I came back, I did a split on the balance beam and tore a hamstring and ended up in a chiropractor's office. That's where my healing journey started, and that's where my opportunity to share that with other people had begun. One of the biggest gifts from that was meeting people from all walks of life. How many people have been here from New York? How many people have been here to New York?
Okay.
How many people know that the people in New York are not from New York? Most of my patients weren't. They were from all over the world. So I got introduced to different customs, to different heritage, to different languages. Great learning to be able to connect again with more people. After an accident, I moved to Arizona. And that's when I was able to fulfill one of my passions, which is Latin ballroom dancing. And one of the biggest gifts was being able to learn how to use my body to talk to people. Anyone ever see Dancing with the Stars? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the same style of dance that I compete in. And you have to be able to grab the audience when you're dancing. You have to be able to talk to them, or else you're just a figure moving on the floor and nobody's paying attention. Ultimately, I took that to the next level, which brings me here today to Ewomen. Imagine that you have the ability to up-level your communication 5 or 10%. How many agree that that would make a difference in your life, in your relationships, in your business? That's what we're going to do right now. When you're looking around, isn't there a lot of information all the time that you hear, that you see, that you smell, that you can touch? Research shows that at every given second, there's 2 million. How much?
2 million.
2 million bits of information every second that we absorb.
Wow.
Pretty staggering statistic, right? It's research. What the interesting thing is, imagine that you have a box of toothpicks, and there's adding and adding and adding. Would you be able to hold that in your hands? 2 million toothpicks in your hands? That's 8,000 boxes of toothpicks. So you have to do something in order to organize it. That's what our brain does with the information. And it organizes through filters. What we see, what we hear, and what we touch. Now, Dr. Moravian came up with a formula. Some of you might have heard this. How many have heard the formula that 55% of communication is body language, 38 is vocal tone, and 7 is our words? So I ask you a question for those who've heard that. So 55 plus 38, how much is that?
93.
Okay, so if I came up to you and I started talking to you, you have any idea what I'm saying?
Yep.
But if 93% is body language, shouldn't she understand? Now, was there a possibility that whatever I spoke to you was in a friendly tone?
Yes.
Was it inviting?
Yes.
So it will give you a sense. But what I said was, hi, how are you today? How is your day going? So words have much more than 7%. And words actually will dictate a lot of things in our life. neuroscience shows that our state, our psychology, and our language are directly connected. It also shows that our health is a direct result of our language and what we feed our mind. So I came up with something different, because I like to be different. I like to think outside the box. I came up with the 3 P's of communication. Number 1, personality, who we are. Number 2, physiology, how we do things, how we act, and how we say things. And number 3, our phraseology. So what is it? 3 P's? Personality, physiology, and phraseology. Basically, who we are, what we say, and how we say it. Those are the things that are going to make the difference in any given circumstance, in any given situation. So let's start with personality. Who has one? Who'd like a new one? Everybody has it? It wasn't 100% of the hands. Ray, I know you have a personality.
Well, I said I raised my hand in the back.
Oh, so pretty much you were
You
like,
said, who wants the new one?
And I.
okay, good, good, because that brings me to the point of what are the keys in our personality? First of all, is your mindset. And anywhere you are, you need to know what's your intention, what is your plan. When you came here in order to meet, which would probably be the best thing, because how many people here came to meet new people? How many came to make new connections? How many of you would also like that to build to your business? There should be 100%. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. 100%, and that's okay. Because you're building the connections because you're in a business meeting. You're not looking for a date at a business meeting. So the intention has to be clear and the direction has to be clear. And your mindset has to be leading you in that direction. Your thought process. Again, we just built that thought process, starting here to meet people, to make connections that could lead to business. So when I set that mind, then I know I have a clear intention on what my goal is anywhere I go. Because by the way, if I took a dart and just tossed it, it would probably hit somebody in the room, right? But was that targeted? It would hit anybody, wouldn't it? So I'm not necessarily getting a specific result. I'm getting any result. Could it be also a result that I don't want? Because I was actually planning on throwing it at the wall, and it hit Charisse instead. So there has to be a plan in that and a process. And the last thing is psychology. It's understanding your psychology and understanding the psychology of the people around you. As an example, when I went to Israel, is there a different mindset in the Middle East than there is in the States? Did I have to learn a whole new set of rules, a whole new set of systems, different strategies? I grew up in a country and I've been through 2 wars. That's going to change my psychology, and it's going to change my understanding of other people. So knowing who you are is the foundation for you to be able to connect to other people. Presence. We connect and we buy from people that we know, that we like, that we trust. Ever heard of the sleazy car salesman?
Mm-hmm.
Would you put authentic next to their name? Probably not, right? People connect with other people through their heart, through their authenticity. Now, I always say this, I am not a comedian. I'm quick, I'm witty, I got one joke. You wanna hear my joke?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Admiral walks into a bar and orders a drink to go. So the drink leaves. I said I can't tell jokes. I'm not gonna go. I just got to leave the other day. Somebody asked me to be an MC and a stand-up comedian. Like, That's not me. So then I asked a question, are you really looking for a stand-up comedian? Apparently the gig just writes it that way. He goes, no, this is a serious event. It's a book launch and an awards dinner. I'm like, okay, I can do that. But I would never attempt to be something that I'm not, because guess what? You won't buy that. And do the same thing. When you are connecting with someone, you want to match their energy. You want to match their persona. If I came up, what's your name? Sarah. We met earlier. Sarah has a really pleasant energy about her. If I came, hey Sarah, let's go run around the block, she'd be looking. That's not happening. Because that's not Sarah's energy, and that's not her personality. And coming up to her in that way will actually pull her away. And that goes the same thing to being able to read the energy in the room. How many here are speakers? How many here want to be speakers or want to speak more than they do right now? I'm going to tell you another story that we had yesterday. So there was this panel. There's a panel of, what were they? What are they? Well, she was the ombudsman, the ombudswoman. She was the ombudswoman, and they were a panel of experts. Again, they had a lot of I don't even know what language they were speaking. They were speaking GSA tech. And I just sat there. Now, by the way, can somebody speak tech and have an engaging personality and read your energy, and you could still be drawn in and want to know what they have to say? I'm with you 100% when you're standing there. And she had the microphone, that was here. It was just kind of a visual aid. And not being able to look at the audience and see that she's not connected, not reading the energy in the room. Whether it's one client or 3,000 in a stadium, you have to be able to not only project your own energy, but read the energy in the room so that you can connect. What? So you can do what? Connect. And why is connection important? Anyone? Why is connection important?
Everything, engaging your audience, relationships.
Anyone else? Excellent. Engaging your audience, creating relationships. What else?
Getting your message out.
Getting your message out, because when you connect and you engage with the audience, they want to use their ears and listen. They're ready to receive that information. So that's one of the ways, because you have the ability to reach in. By the way, do people buy from their head or from their heart? Their heart. And how do they justify it?
Trust.
Their head. Excellent. So people buying is an emotional decision, and we justify that with information, with statistics, with other things that help us solidify that decision. So read the energy in the room. Big presentation or a conference call, a date. Anyone ever nervous?
Yes.
Okay. Here's a little tip. In 2 minutes, you can change your state and completely transform your energy. Here's a beautiful thing. Neuroscience will show that your physiology can change your psychology, and your psychology can change your physiology. So if your psychology is telling you like, I'm really nervous, which by the way, even as a seasoned speaker, whenever I go into a room, I have a little bit of butterflies. I think that makes us humble. I think that's important, that we know that that also keeps us authentic. Knowing like, hey, I'm gonna go share something with these people, and I wanna make sure that I connect to them, that I relate to them. So back to the research, and there's a great message that Dr. Amy Cuddy put in her TED Talk about this. Anyone remember Wonder Woman? My patients in New York used to call me Wonder Woman because I used to wear headbands and I have dark hair like she does. This is the pose. Got this 2 minutes before you go into that meeting, before you go on stage, before you take 2 minutes, just stand. What you're doing at that